Today's video, we're going to talk about cultivating a willingness to change. So, cultivating a willingness to change or having a willingness to change is the beginning of growth in our life. That's what I believe. I believe that once you're willing to change and you're willing to do something different to get to where you want to go, that's when things start to happen. And that's how it worked for me. So you have to identify, maybe you don't quite know in detail what you want to really give you like a very strong reason to change. But as you grow, you'll narrow that down, you'll figure it out, and you'll figure out exactly what you want, deadlines for it. That we'll tune into that later on. But right now, all we need to cultivate a willingness to change is just some goal, something that we want different in our life. I want to make more money. I want to be better with my finances. I want to have a better relationship with my wife. I want to get a promotion at my job. You don't have to be specific to start. Just have something that you can build a desire on and that can move you forward and inspire change in your life. Because every time that we set a goal and then we want to go for it, or if we want something better for ourselves, it almost always requires change. I'm not saying it's going to be drastic change. A lot of times it is, but maybe you're already like right there on the border, and you should tweak one thing, little change, and you'll get to your goal. So everybody's different. I know for me, when I decided to go after my goals, and when I decided to write them down and figure out what I wanted and kind of how I wanted my life to look, in the beginning, I didn't really have a good idea. I just knew that I wanted everything to be different. I couldn't live the way I was living anymore. I couldn't stand it. I wanted to eventually have a family. I wanted to have, be good with my finances, a good career. That's all I had. I didn't have things dialed down. I didn't tell myself how much money I wanted to have, what kind of woman do I want to marry, and family do I want to have. I didn't have all that yet, but I had enough to start. I had enough to say, like, this is where I want to start heading in this direction. So in a sense, you're starting off with direction, and that should inspire change in your life. And it's one thing to get the change, and then the next thing to act on it. So action is everything, and you'll hear that everywhere, but to change, you got to take action. And once you have a willingness to change, it's easier to take the action. So you get that willingness to change, now what? Now you have to figure out, what do you need to change? Because you can't just go in blindly and, I'm going to stop drinking Coca-Cola because I want to have better finances. Doesn't make any sense. You got to figure out what you need to change to get closer to your goal. So for a lot of people, it's different for every goal and every person. But to start off simple, maybe devote a little bit of time trying to figure out what people that are already where I want to be, or that have kind of what I want, what did they do? What are they doing? That stuff is so readily available. Literally, all the millionaires, all these people who are successful, own businesses, they have books that tell you how they did it, that tell you what they do every day. So reading is usually a good place to start because more than likely on your journey, you're going to want to read a lot of content, principles, mindset, how to handle finances, and you can watch videos online too. That helps, but I encourage you to build reading into your life. So maybe that's the first change. Maybe the first change is, I'm going to spend 10 minutes reading from a book on success principles, on mindset. I'm going to start shifting my mindset first so that I can, figure out really what I want and start moving in that direction. So my change is going to be, I'm going to start reading a book. I'm going to start reading every night for 5 minutes before I go to bed. And then that's it. That's the start of your change. You start reading, and it's like a snowball. In my experience, it was like a snowball. So, and a word of advice, it's never a good idea to jump in and change a lot of things all at once, because that is overwhelming. And a lot of times what happens is we can't sustain it, and we end up walking away from it, and we get a bad taste in our mouth. Like, I tried that, it was too much work, I couldn't fit it into my life. But if we start small, and read 5 minutes a night, next week read 10 minutes, next week read 2 chapters, and build up from there, it's going to continue to progress. You're going to start seeing other areas that you need to change. You're going to start identifying more specific things that you want out of life, specific goals. You're going to start looking for people that you want to follow or have mentor you or coach you. You're going to start taking interest in other people's lives who have what you have. And it all starts with a willingness to change. And that it's good to watch this video. It's good to read a little bit of a book. It's good to get all this motivation, hear all these podcasts, and they make me feel good. But if I'm unwilling to change anything in my life, or add a new habit, or take away a bad habit, or start reading a book, or actually doing something about this stuff, then I'm not going to go anywhere. It's just motivation. And motivation is great, but if you don't back it up with some kind of action, all it is motivation. It'll make you feel good for a day or two, and then it goes away because it doesn't change you. So, if you're watching this video, more than likely it's because you're interested in changing and growing and learning and going after your dreams and your goals. So willingness to change, that'll build up a desire to want more, to grow further, to go after your goals and your dreams. And that's the start of the journey. That was the start of the journey for me. I had desperation, and that's not everybody's going to come in with desperation, but desperation can be a huge catalyst. Desperation pushed me so far into change that I was willing to change everything in my life, because I was so desperate to not be living the way that I was living before. You don't need desperation, though. You just need a little desire to start off with, and that desire needs to grow. I got to be clear that your desire needs to grow. It needs to become so strong that you can't imagine not achieving what you're going for. You can't imagine your life without it. You can't imagine your life without that promotion. It needs to be so strong that you would do whatever it takes to go after it. You might not start off that way, but in order to keep this stuff a priority in your life, it needs to be very important, and you have to desire it with all your heart. But let's just start off with a little bit of change. Let's figure out, what do we have to do? What book can I read? What educational show can I watch? What habit can I do? What exercise do I need to start off with? Whatever it is that you're going for, start with a little bit of change. Have that willingness to change and hold on to it and work from there. So I hope this video added value to you. This is a new channel, and it's aimed at personal development, specifically for men looking for, who to figure out who they are and what their direction is in life. And everything that I speak is from experience. And my goal is to add as much value as possible to help other men get to where they want to be and figure out who they are and what they want in life, because that was huge for me. So if you're enjoying this channel, if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate a subscribe and a like. I'm going to release new content every week, so subscribe will let you know. And thank you for tuning in. Have a good one.